There we go. Okay, welcome to the Arborist call for the 10th of August. This call is in its new time slot, which is 2100 UTC. We'll get started with some node updates. I'm not sure there will be any research or implementation status updates today. No discussion topics have been proposed. In fact, no discussion topics have ever been proposed in advance of any Arborist call. So yeah, if you have something you want to discuss, let us know, and then we'll move on to open announcements, any updates anybody wants to give, any discussion, and then we'll wrap it up. Just a reminder that Arborist calls happen every 2 weeks in alternating time slots. There's an early time slot of 1500 UTC, which caters more to people living in Europe and a little bit further east of there. And then this is the 2100 UTC time slot. And the goal of these calls is to allow people who are contributing to the Zcash protocol to come together to discuss, provide updates, and to discuss timelines, processes, provide updates on any R&D efforts that are going on, and coordinate to ensure that we don't have any mutual blockers. Anybody, the goal is to make protocol development more accessible and transparent to the Zcash community, and to make it possible for a wider set of participants than the actual developers who are regularly involved. Basically, the goal is if you want to get involved in Zcash protocol development, this is the place you come to find out what's going on and to get started. Anybody can register to attend these calls. You can find the relevant links by pointing your browser at zcasharborist.org. And if you want to present something to the call, please email us on arboristcall@zfnd.org. Other ways to get involved: you can apply for a Zcash community grant. You can join our Zcash R&D Discord, which is where all the developers hang out, or you can join the ever exciting and spicy Zcash community forum, and you can find all of these links again by pointing your browser at zcasharborist.org. And just a reminder, obviously everyone who's present knows this, but if anybody is watching this on YouTube at a later date and wondering, where was the call, we have changed the timings and updated the Zoom links because of that. So the late slot is now changed to start an hour and a half earlier at 2100 UTC to make it easier for people in Europe to join that call. And the earlier slot is staying at 1500 UTC, and you can find the new registration links at zcasharborist.org. Let's start off with ECC, and I guess it's Chris.
Yep. So not much in the way of Zcash D updates this week, although because our principal efforts have been going towards the SDKs for the mobile wallets. So we are nearing a new SDK release. Some of the nightly releases are already being tested by some of our wallet partners, but we're working through sort of the last of the issues that need to be resolved for us to release the spend before sync and zip 317 support functionality in the SDK. So what these are, just briefly, the spend before sync allows users' existing notes to be made spendable almost immediately upon opening the wallet, not having to wait to scan all of the blocks in the chain. And then the zip 317 support, we're moving to a model for transaction creation that should allow wallets to give users a pretty nice user experience, which is that the wallet calls into the SDK asking for a transaction proposal. The SDK replies with, here's a summary of the transaction that we are planning to create, including any fees and any and that also provides information about if, for example, you have a wallet that supports both Sapling and Orchard, if there are any privacy implications of funds crossing pool boundaries, anything like that, the user can then be shown the details of that transaction, including what memos are going to go where and so forth, and then approve it, and then that proposed transaction can then be actually created using the wallet spending keys and published to the network. So those are the main things that that we're working on right now, and looks like we'll probably be finalizing up that SDK release in the next week-ish. Yeah, I'll say the next week or two, given the amount that I'm aware of that we have left to resolve.
Cool, thank you. Any questions for Chris? Just as an aside, I might update this from being node updates to maybe just core team updates or something like that to reflect that it's not just about the node itself. Okay, let's move on to the Zebra update, and Mark's in the hot seat this week.
So there isn't much to update. There isn't that much that got merged in the last 2 weeks, since most of us were away. The main thing that we're working on is the support for the spend before sync algorithm. We have some work left there to do, mainly three issues, and we're not storing the node commitment trees for each height anymore, but we still have to prune the existing trees. We have a PR in flight for that, and that's about it. We need to update two more RPCs, if I'm not mistaken, and then the support should be ready for the new light wallet, the algorithm, or the support.
Cool. Any questions on Zebra? Okay, let's move on to implementation and research updates. The Frost team are all on leave this week, so we don't have any updates there. Does anybody else have any updates they want to provide? Going once. Going twice.
Don't think there's anything much on the ECC end. The primary research and development action here has been, I know Nate has been moving forward on design of essentially finality protocols for Zcash related to a shift to proof of stake. So I know that he's been looking at some sort of hybrid stake and proof of work protocols, but I don't have more details than that at the moment. But the goal is really to add a finality layer such that, or propose a finality layer that will allow functionality like bridging between chains to be implementable.
Yeah, it's actually the design that we first looked at probably about 4 years ago, when I think it was around the time Ethereum Classic was 51% attacked, and we were nervous about Zcash being attacked at the time, and this idea of I think at the time the idea was to have a proof of authority to effectively have a trailing milestone beyond which the blockchain could not be rolled back. But sounds like Nate has adapted that idea for proof of stake. Cool. Right. Well, I think unless anybody has any other open announcements that they want to share with the group, Jason, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. So just a quick update for Shielded Labs. So we've been working on the 2 zips for the Zcash Sustainability Fund. And the first zip, which establishes the ZSF at the protocol level, it's almost complete. And we're planning on posting a rough draft to the forum early next week. So we're building consensus as we go. And it kind of feels like we're in uncharted waters. And I think, you know, it only works if we get meaningful feedback from the relevant organizations and stakeholders. So I just wanted to encourage everybody to please provide feedback on the zips, and I'll probably be somewhat aggressive about pacing down and following up with people for feedback.
Have you been talking to the zip editors?
Yes, we have.
Okay, yeah, that's the most important feedback that you need to be getting. Chris.
Yeah, I was just going to ask. So I presume that there's a draft on the Zips GitHub repository. That might be a good piece of information to share. You know, in this venue if that's available.
Okay, will do.
Paku.
All right. Yeah, just to announce myself officially, this is like my first full week as a Zcash Wallet community developer, and I'm still getting everything organized to serve the community better, and putting some project management tools around my repos and all, to be a little more like organized and try to see what's better to make my work visible to everyone. And as far as I'm concerned, I've been mostly working on reviewing some PRs for Nighthawk this week, and also starting to work on benchmark tests using DarkSide Wallet D that I will initially use Zingo for, but those tests should be at least the data sets will be available for every wallet to use. The first one we've came up with is the second flush of enthusiasm, which is basically a basic onboarding flow for users that we came up with the Zingo Labs team, which will allow us to simulate the situation where someone gets onboarded to use Zec, then forgets about it, like 100,000 blocks have passed, and somebody reminds that person of receiving Zec for some transaction, and the user opens up the wallet, and we want to see what happens then, like how fast the funds are available, how fast the wallet is usable, and compare between implementations that the wallet teams can have benchmarks on, like how they improved upon that scenario. That's the first scenario we will be creating, but we expect to create more. So if you have ideas and all, just ping me on the R&D Discord, and then I hope in the future I come up with better communication channels that are easier. Well, that's pretty much my announcement, and pretty excited.
Oh yeah, congratulations, Paku. Any other announcements or questions or any other topics that anybody wants to raise? If not, we might set a record. I'm not sure what the record is for the shortest Arborist call, but this has to be right up there near the top, certainly.
Yep.
Okay, next Arborist call would be in 2 weeks' time in the earlier time slot, 1500 UTC. And with that, I will say good night, good day, good afternoon to everybody wherever you are.
Right.
Cheerio.
Good night. Good afternoon to everyone. Goodbye.
Bye all.
Bye,
Welcome back,
everybody.
Paku.